This is your wife, Candace.
You remember me, don't you, Jimmy?
Jimmy?
Last name Stanton.
It's better than John Doe.
You love being single. When this thing is over with, you and me, we'll hit some of our hot spots.
In Bloodfist V, Human Target.
Welcome to The Good, The Bad, and The Sequel. This is the movie podcast where we're talking sequels, and we do it in two parts. The first, an interview with an actor or someone involved that made the film worth watching, and the second, a discussion of the sequel, what they got right, what they got wrong, and how it could have been better. Really hope you enjoyed last week's interview with a star of so many movies, so many sequels, Denise Duff. Man, it's so much fun to talk to her about her career growing up in Long Island. Then her family moves out to LA when she's young. And then she wins the Star Search. And then she's starring in all these really fun movies. It was cool talking to her about because she worked with Charles Band. She worked with Roger Corman. So it was cool. There's like two people that are the king of like those low budget movies. And it was really cool to hear her answers about that. How she was in the running to be Sandra Bullock's character in Demolition Man. She got a callback, still has that script, which is pretty rad. Just so many stories. Love talking to her. And and she plays quite the character of Candace / Michelle. If you haven't seen the movie, then that doesn't make any sense, but we'll break it down for you. Talking Bloodfist V, starring Don the Dragon Wilson, Denise, and man, one of our faves, Steve James. Before I talk about any of this crazy, one of the biggest twists in any movie that I've ever seen, I got to introduce you to my partner in the sequel watching journey, Jamie Riccardi. Jamie, how are you?
I'm doing fantastic, Doug. How are you doing?
Pretty good. When I had to commute to the train yesterday, this made it so much easier. And it's funny that when I was like, oh man, we might get bad storms, and you're like, oh, let's just do it tomorrow night. And then you're like, I have 20 minutes left. And I'm like, you know what's funny? When I got to 20 minutes left today, whew, what a 20 minutes. Like that last
okay.
20 minutes?
Well, okay. So I'm struggling with this podcast tonight because one, Denise is awesome. You know, I mean, she really is a down-to-earth person, and she's really awesome. But the movie I struggled with. Okay.
Really?
And for a few reasons. One, yes, the last 20 minutes is a much different movie than the first hour, because movie's an hour, like 20 minutes. So yeah, there's not a lot of action in the first hour. There really isn't. There's, I think, two action scenes. I guess
the beginning and then maybe like a few fights, but yeah.
But even the beginning, it's like, it's very quick. And like, and I know this was late in James's career, and you know, unfortunately, I think
the last film.
Probably, yeah, so he was probably sick filming this. So like, it's like it wasn't his typical role, you know. And so to see him like that, because he looked like he lost weight, like he looks very thin in the face compared to, you know. But I mean, like, I don't think I've ever seen Don Wilson Dragon's movies.
What?
Yeah, and
wow, a lot of them.
He's not a good actor. I mean, I don't know. This movie was I struggled a little bit with this movie, and so one thing I'm kind of confused on is this is the 5th movie in the franchise, and you know, obviously it's kind of a crazy story, this movie. So I wanted to just look up the synopsis on all the movies before this.
I did that before too.
Okay. He plays a different character in every movie,
except the first two. The first two is a tournament. He's trying to. So the
correct.
First one's kind of blood sportish. Like he's going into tournament. That's Billy Blank's the first one.
Correct.
First two are like, okay, these are like fighting movies. And then the third one, he's fighting for his life in prison as a different character.
Yeah, correct. Right. Yeah. And then the rest of them, he's a different character. So my question is it really a franchise? If it's really, all these movies have nothing to do with each other except for the first two.
Great point. Yeah, I was confused by that too because I'd never seen the fourth one, and I forgot what his name was in the first two, which I think it's Jake. So when this one started, I'm like, oh, is that his name? I'm like, that's kind of crazy, the whole thing. Like, I don't remember being in the CIA or the NSA or anything like that.
But just the way like the twist comes out, then I'm like, all right, that's what made me look, because I'm like, all right,
yeah.
I'm like, okay, this doesn't make sense. If they made 5 of these, what's his character? So I had to look it up, and sure enough, like that made it even more confusing. So he plays a different character, and it's like, so it's a different world, different, like nobody's the same in any of these movies except for the first 2. Is it really a franchise? Why
I don't know.
call it this?
For our purposes, I don't know. That's a Corman classic. They do Sorority House Massacre 2 was totally different than the original Sorority Massacre. It's like not even the same thing at all.
Yeah, but it doesn't have to be, because it is. Again, it's a same thing. It's a massacre with the sorority girls. So that's different. I mean, listen, all the outside. I mean, a lot of these movies could be like that because it has the same storyline. But these movies, no actors are the same and completely different storylines. So it was just it's just weird that they decided to keep I mean, listen, good for us. But just weird that they continued, like, you know what? Let's make the 4th one in the franchise. Nothing to do with the other ones, but we're going to call it the same movie.
Yeah. And I think there's 8 of these, and then there's
There
Ring
is?
of Fire. Then there's Ring of Fire, and I think there's like 7 or 8 of those too.
Oh, is that a continuation of these?
Oh no, it's just a different one. So him and Corman sought him out in the 80s. That's why I want to interview Don the Dragon, because he's a world champion kickboxer. And if you didn't know it, you saw it on the main title card.
You did.
It says world champion.
So, okay, so which makes it weird, because isn't that considered the first one or second one that he was a kickboxing champion?
No, that's him. That's him in real life. That's who he is.
Yeah, but was that his character in this movie, like that he's a kickboxing champion, or that's just a title because he's? So you're saying that someone
that's who he is. I'm saying that the title card in this movie, the first thing you see, it's like if Mike Tyson starred in a straight to DVD movie, and it's like Mike Tyson, 7-time heavyweight champion.
So you're saying that if Philip, who's a plumber, decided to start acting, it would say Philip Jones, plumber by trade.
Yeah, I would hope so. 5 stars on Angie's List. I would love that.
That is so dumb. If they started doing that for all the movies, how ridiculous would that be? Like everybody's side shots. Dog walker. Steve James, dog walker. So dumb.
Man on bench. Salesman. No. When I saw that, I'm like, oh my God, it's so funny. But no, Corman like sought him out, and it worked. People watch these movies. They were the Corman. They were probably shot really quick. I don't know if I asked Denise how quick this was shot, but he just knows how to get it. 2-3 takes, boom, we're on to the next scene. And you saw a familiar face in this movie, right? Another one?
Yeah.
Karate Kid 2. That's pretty neat to see him in
Chosen.
This.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
Chosen?
But he didn't even do much karate in this movie.
No, he had his butt kicked for the most part.
He did. And I was hoping to see that one guy that's in every movie, and he wasn't in
Brian
this one.
James?
You know what I'm talking about? Is that his name?
The one that's in, he's like Australian?
No. No, the one that's in Lethal Weapon.
Al Jeong. No,
yes,
he's not.
Yes.
Or Al Jeong, yeah.
No, I know he's not in it, but I'm saying like considering they had like they had like the Odd Job guy that looked like Odd Job from James Bond, the main henchman.
Oh my God.
Yeah, like he was Odd Job. You know, I mean, like so ridiculous. And you know, it's funny. I mean, the sound effects of every punch in this movie. You know,
there was backbreaking. Every punch was
everything. Yet no one has a mark in their face. There wasn't one bruise throughout the whole movie. Not one bruise.
Oh, and how about Don got shot in the head? There's nothing.
There's nothing. But listen. He gets stomped on later on. I mean, no bruises. No bruises.
Well, he's barely getting kicked. If you notice, the guy was barely moving his leg.
And you know what's also funny is he must have hands of steel, because it seems that everybody he punches, they get knocked down in one punch.
Yeah.
And
oh man,
these bad guys, they do the typical let's all attack at one time, even though we're surrounding them by 6 of us to one Don the Dragon Wilson. Let's all attack one at a time.
When did that start? When was that? When did that trope start? Was that only in martial arts movies, or did they do that in like old Bronson movies or like Clint Eastwood? Was it always like, hey, we got him surrounded, you go first, and it's always the not the main It's
Correct.
like the main henchman for the boss. He's always like, "You get him now, you get him now, you get him." And then
Well,
it's like,
he wants
that guy.
he wants to tire out the good guy, so he
Sure.
figures
Yeah.
send everybody out there, and then it makes him look better when he has the longer fight at the end, because in reality he's been tired from fighting 5 other guys before him.
You're right. It's like opening up a pickle jar. You get somebody else to try first.
And then you did the last
open it
one like,
and you're the
hey, look how
hero.
easy that was.
So good. But yeah, so let's get started with this movie. You know, obviously, like it's so funny, like we're sitting here joking about a lot of the things, but like these movies are like intently made to be like this. Like
Sure.
this movie, when it was made, just like Corman does, just like Charles Band does, they think like, what's in right now? So right now, what's 1994, that era, what movie was like one of the biggest movies on the planet? Pretty Woman. What is this movie? It has a Pretty Woman-like character in this movie, because that's who Denise is playing, a prostitute. And what, dude, the twist of the characters is something I've never seen. Like, we've seen movies before, obviously, like the M. Night Shyamalan twists, like in Sixth Sense. Like, okay, Bruce Willis. Spoiler alert, he's dead the whole movie. This movie, I've never seen so many people have twists, right? Have you ever seen a movie like that? Even Wild Things had so many characters at the end, like with Bill Murray and Kevin Bacon sort of working together, and like Nev Campbell. But like this one was just like, to me, just it blew my mind. Like, really, the last 10 minutes, I was like picking my brain off the floor, because I'm like, this makes 0 sense. Like, why? Yeah, we'll get into that.
The entire movie makes no sense. I mean, it really doesn't. And I mean, in a way, I'm kind of glad that there was some kind of twist like that, because, I mean, you know, you the third billing in this movie is James.
Oh,
yeah,
dude.
His first scene was like 5 minutes. I'm like, really? He's third billing and he's only in the movie 5 minutes? Like, so I'm glad, like, you know, he came back. But, yeah, you know, listen, this movie is silly. I mean, the storyline, I mean, you know, we'll dive into it, but, like, this movie does not make sense at all. I mean, even Denise's character as a hooker, she basically drops her career, like all of a sudden.
A career?
Well, you don't. Wait, being a hooker is not a career?
Yeah, I guess so, right? You can't put it
Tell
on a
hooker.
resume.
Why not?
What if you interviewed somebody for a job and they were like, so I see you worked at CVS and then you did sales for Avon, and then you have this thing. You're on the corner of 7th and Park.
Okay, so you're telling me a pimp can't put it on a resume that he was like a manager?
It's a manager, yeah.
So I mean, he's applying to CVS as a manager role. Do you have any experience managing? Well, yeah, I had a couple of hookers underneath my belt that we used to manage, and I mean,
and then I took the belt off and they got out of line, you know.
So if you
15-minute breaks, Brian, that's it.
All right. I mean, I'm sure if you ask a hooker that's been doing it for a while, they'll say this is my career choice.
Oh yeah, I'm sure they make a lot more than I do. So we talked about it a little bit. So we cut right in the beginning of the movie. Don the Dragon is getting, he's getting chased like right away, like right off the bat. And then he's fighting, like you said, he fights the 6 guys. They do one-on-one instead of all at once. But how about when he's running away from a car?
Okay. A few things. One,
yes.
How long does this take place compared, from when he's in the coma?
Oh, what do you mean? He goes right into the coma after this.
Right. Okay. So what year is it supposed to be that he has that long mullet that he's running around with? Because he had a long mullet.
No, he had the mullet in the beginning.
Yeah, right. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. So what year is that? If the movie took place in 1994, he's running around. I mean, that was a big mullet. I mean, he had,
What are you saying? He didn't get the mullet afterwards. He came out of the. He went in the coma after the opening scene.
I know, but that's my point. Like, after the coma, I'm assuming it takes place in the 90s, but he's wearing a mullet. Like, is it taking place in the 80s? Like he.
You.
And
I know what you mean.
Wait, they gave him a haircut while he was in a coma?
Yeah, they gave him a coma haircut. Well, he got shot in the head, but he had no scars. They couldn't buzz into his head to show a line to show where the bullet grazed him.
I guess. But again, there was no bloody faces at all in this movie. So I mean, they probably didn't have a budget for the makeup. But do they do that? Like if someone's in a coma, I can see if they're in a coma for like 10 years. I mean, you know, you don't want to look like Rip Van Winkle, you know, with his long beard but it wasn't in a coma that long. Why'd they give him a haircut?
I don't know. Maybe like the local community college, like beautician school, comes in and they practice on the coma patient.
Okay. All right.
That'd be a nice program. You know, some people donate kidneys, others donate hair.
So you're saying like someone could wake up with a mohawk?
Oh,
you know,
mohawk, nails done, pedicure, yeah.
Oh, and, okay. So if they're not going to be confused as it is because they have no memory, they're really going to get confused when they look in the mirror.
Yeah, that'd be pretty funny. Oh my god! But no, the fact that like he's outrunning the car, Chosen's chasing him, and Chosen's like number 2. He jumps a fence, he's outrunning, and you're like, oh my god! And then, dude, that stuntman. That was crazy. The fact that the door opens, hits the stuntman, he falls on the ground. You're like, oh my god! And then he's running away, and then he gets shot into the water.
Okay, the running in this movie, throughout the movie, is very slow motion.
Oh, there's a lot of slow. Well, this is the '90s slow motion trend. Even big budget action movies did it.
But they didn't show it in slow motion. So like, I mean, like, there's literally a scene later on in the movie when he's being chased. Literally looks like the guy's like he just ran a marathon.
On the roof. I know, on the roof.
And he just ran a marathon, and he's like on the last mile, and he has nothing left. That's what he looked like when he was chasing him. Like that's how slow he was running.
It was almost like, okay, Todd, take 7. And he's like, 7 takes of me running, and he just like that was the only one that worked, I guess, or something. But yeah. That's the scene I thought of. I wrote that down. But yeah, the fact that so then he's in the hospital and they get him in there just in time, and then we get like a surgery montage with like very soft like elevator music.
Okay, so was this before the nurse, the just awful nurse who walks in there?
Oh, you're talking about the awful nurse that was saying she wishes she was in a coma?
Yes. No. Well, she didn't say that. She says, "Oh, I wish I can close my eyes for a little while." I mean, like, how insensitive can you be? This guy's in a coma, and you're like, yeah, like he's cheating. Like he's cheating right now on like going to work. He's pretending to be asleep. Like she literally says, "I wish I can close my eyes for a little while like him."
Maybe that's the thing in nursing school. Maybe the nurses walk in, they say something like that, and that triggers the coma patient to wake up and be like, "The nerve, lady! Like, come on."
Yeah.
But I must say, I would love a documentary on like coma patients in movies, because there's so many people that they play it like, oh my god, where am I? And like they really don't, or they don't know who they are. Like some people play it too high or too low. I think he plays it like pretty good. Like I'm just like believable coma guy.
You think he plays it really good? He doesn't know who he is, if he's married, but somehow he knows all his karate moves like no problem.
Well, that goes to the different lobe. Remember in The Doctor? They had to throw that exposition in there. He damaged like the ulterior lobe or whatever, and that's the memory. He didn't get the karate lobe, which was in the back.
Literally, like it's not. Listen, at least I think like Matt Damon in Bourne Identity, he played it well. Like, you know, he didn't know, and then all of a sudden, out of the blue at the bank, he starts doing karate, and he's like, where did that come from? Like, he didn't realize he could do that. Here, Don just basically jumps right into it like he didn't miss a beat. And, not to mention, they were teaching him how to walk. He couldn't walk. Okay, so there was a montage of him doing sit-ups in his room as a patient.
Yeah.
Like, he's doing sit-ups on the floor. Like, how long was the therapy? Because it seems like it was very like a week.
Well, it said 4 weeks. Like we saw the montage of him getting trained how to walk, but when he's doing the one push-up, when he's doing the sit-up, it says 4 weeks.
Oh, it did. Okay, so in 4 weeks,
and then his wife comes in.
Okay, so in 4 weeks, he learns how to do full karate when he can barely walk. At least in Hard to Kill, Steven Seagal grew a beard. Yeah. All right, like I mean, you know, like, and he really, I mean, like, and he fell down a few times trying to, you know, get. So at least like he did. He also did it right, you know, of not knowing what he's doing. Dana Wilson, I mean, he recovered pretty fast.
He did.
By the way, I just called him Don. I just called him Don the Wilson.
Don the Wilson. That's good. It's Hard to Kill. Like, I love that movie, but the scene of him escaping the hospital with a broomstick is still like insane.
It's amazing. But that's, listen, I will respect that more than Don Wilson doing flips and kicks 4 weeks after barely able to walk.
Yeah.
At least Seagal couldn't even sit up. He's using a broomstick to push elevator buttons.
Yeah.
And to steer his bed throughout the hallways.
Yeah.
Like, how heavy are those beds that this broomstick's going to steer it all the way down?
I know. Those things are heavy. They're hard to move.
Can we talk about Hard to Kill?
No. But I may watch that tonight. That's a good one. But so this is what he's doing, the sit up. 4 weeks later, we see it on the bottom of the screen to let us know. And hey, we have a surprise for you. And it's Denise. She shows up. She's supposed to, this is the craziest part. And I wonder if they would really do this. I would think they would give the amnesia patient, like, I don't know, like a day or two to acclimate to finding out this wild news that you're married. They're like, I think you're good to go home now. Because the funniest part was he was upset, not about like not remembering his wife. He does do a little like, my wife? But when when they say his name, and he's like, Jimmy? Like, he's like, it's like he hates the name Jimmy.
Well, first of all, they do this in every movie. I mean, look at Overboard. I mean, literally, they did the same exact thing. You know, so I mean, doctors don't care. They're probably like, listen, we gotta get rid of him. We don't know what to do with him. You know, let's just whoever comes in, we're just gonna send them along. But how did she find him? If the doctors had no idea who he was either, I'm sure he had no identification on him. So,
well, I'm sure Chosen, like what we find out later in the movie, but not even at this point. Their job is to make sure that he's dead. So Chosen probably called. It looks like you have an assistant there handing you water.
Oh, no, I don't.
Like right above the camera and like.
Oh, really?
But yeah. But no, Chosen probably they didn't find the body maybe, which they didn't show that scene. They probably call local hospitals. Hey, we got a guy here that doesn't know who he is.
Or because based on the movie, Chosen brought him to the hospital.
Oh, well, I don't know, maybe because remember we'll get into the end of the movie, but
no, I know, but I mean, but for the fact that they did need him, so
yeah,
I mean, he was right there. They knew he didn't die, obviously. So my guess is they brought him to the hospital.
That's a good that's plausible. It makes more sense than like because we didn't see a fisherman find him in the river, or, like in the water. We saw him fall in the water, then he was like in the hospital. Right. So they should have like bridged that gap.
And you see this a lot in movies also that like someone like puts someone in a wheelchair, wheels them to the front doors, and then leaves. Do hospitals always just take that person in and just throw like?
Yeah, I know.
Because it happens all the time. Like, or it's like a ring and run, except you're leaving a injured person at the front door of the hospital.
Yeah, you're leaving like a vegetable there, and you're just thinking like, "Hey, where's the insurance? I'm not taking this guy without insurance."
Okay,
you're that sassy woman.
100%. So like, okay, you could be bleeding from the head, going to the emergency room. But you have to sit at that front desk with the insurance woman and going over your entire insurance. They will not put you in a room until you do that, even though your eyeball's hanging out. Yet people just wheel people in there who don't have any wallet or any identification, and somehow they get in the room, they get surgery, they get everything they want.
That's the way to do it. If you really want to get in there, just get someone to frantically drop you off in a wheelchair. And then just like pretend you're sleeping, and then boom, you get right in. And then the doctor walks in, they're like, "Oh my god, are you okay?" And you're like, "Oh man, what a day! I got a splinter. I need you to take it out." Like the most like minuscule thing that you could do at home, and like, oh man, the doctor's got to help you, right? They can't walk out. But so then they get to the car, and I love that the car is something like it's so different, I guess, what he thinks in his mind, like what his personality should be. And it's like obviously a Pitmobile, so that's what it looks like. And it has like it's very like Cheech Marin or like Larry's Hankins car in Plane, Trains, and Automobiles. So they get to the car, and like those guys are waiting. Chosen and the other guy are waiting, and then in seconds, the first like semi twist. It's like she's like, "Oh, I'm not." She goes, "Where's my $500?" I'm like, oh my God.
Why was that a twist? Oh, that she was a hooker?
Because I thought it was his wife. I thought it was his wife.
So his wife can't be a hooker?
She can be, but but your wife can't sell you out. Because my wife picked me up from the hospital. 2 guys come up and she's like, "Oh, you're gonna pay me $1,000? I got him out."
Oh, I thought she was like she slept with Chosen and she was asking for her $500.
Yeah, you owe me $500 for 3 nights ago.
And again, coincidence that Chosen's right there after he drops him off the night a week before. I mean, 4 weeks.
Makes sense now. It makes sense now. Like then I just thought like they were following the wife, so they knew who his wife was. And then as soon as she showed up, oh boom! And then when they say that, I'm like, kind of fishy. Like, how would they know? Yeah, I don't know.
And okay, so if she sold him out, I mean, she does that a few times, but so he just like falls for it again, like that their relationship to me moved way too fast for barely knowing each other. Because
it's not even that it moved fast. That when at the very end, that was like, to me, made no sense because there was parts of this movie he wanted to leave her, and then the other time he brought her a $5,100 bracelet out of nowhere.
Why was he dragging her along in the first place? I mean, that made no. And you see again another trope you see in movies all the time. They always drag someone along that basically slows them down. Like there's no reason to do that. And why do all the henchmen wear suits? From Chosen to Oddjob, they all wear suits the entire movie, and I don't understand. And again, you see this a lot in movies. Like even the dragon wears a suit most of the movie. It's hard. I can't even move. Like when I get to a wedding, it's hard to dance with a suit on. I can't wait to take the jacket off, like so I can move better. Right? How can you fight with a suit on?
I would have my guys in like basketball shorts and like getting tees or something. Like
absolutely
comfortable.
Absolutely. It just doesn't make sense.
We're bad guys one day. That's how we're gonna put out our letters. Remember we covered Death Wish 3. We talked about like how do they get all these henchmen to show up? We would get all our henchmen because we would offer like healthcare day 1, and you guys can wear the most comfortable clothes.
Well, you can say we have dress down. Dress down during the week. Dress down Tuesday and Thursdays.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, but really, like, I mean, even like Tom Cruise is always running in a suit. Like he's always, he runs in every movie. He's always in a suit. Why? Like, why do you have to dress nice? Wear sneakers. At least wear sneakers.
Yeah, or have a rip-away suit. Like James Bond's would be great if he wore like the suit, and then as soon as he's about to fight, he's like, "Whoa, give me a second," and then he's wearing like some comfortable.
Well, I mean, you're really gonna wear you're telling me to wear clothes underneath the suit?
Yeah, something that's light.
You'd be walking around like the kid in Christmas Story, like you couldn't move because you have so much. You have so many layers on. You think that's the easy thing? I thought you meant like have like the basketball pants, like you rip the pants off.
Oh, with the little zipper. Hold on. Oddjob ripping off one and the other.
Oh man.
Oh my god. How the hell was that a trend? The pants with the zipper to between the shorts. Just have a pair of pants and a pair of shorts.
Yeah. So stupid.
God damn. So they show up. And it was pretty bad. It went like 0 to 60 because she's like, "I want my money," and he puts her head onto the car, puts the gun to the back of her head, and she's like, "Never mind, just let me go." And then again, just like most of the time in this movie, dragon, quick work of them, and they're off. They're in their car and they're running away.
Yeah, I mean, again, I understand why he took her at this point because she was in danger, but doesn't know her. He doesn't know her. Well, how long until he knows that it's not his wife, or he thinks it's his wife the whole movie?
Well, right away. Oh, right there he finds out.
Right there.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
No, as soon as she says "Where's my 500?"
Okay.
She says it. Yeah.
So fine. He saves her, gets her out of there. Like first of all, she said that she saved him. How did she save him? Because she had the car?
Because she got him out of the hospital, I guess, before they would have went in and killed him or something. That didn't make sense.
Yeah,
she said that a few times in this movie.
She does.
She goes, "I saved you a few times," and I'm like,
"Yeah, I don't know where that was, but he should have. The minute like they escaped from there, he should have said, 'All right, go on your way, and I'll go on my way.'"
Yeah.
Okay.
Like Howard Stern when they used to have he'd be like, how much would it cost to do whatever? Like, really, for you, like, say you're in your 20s, you're hard for money. Like, what would somebody have to pay you to be like, okay, there's this girl, a lady in the hospital, she has amnesia. We did some Photoshop photos, we got some stories you could tell, and you got to get her out of there. Could you imagine, like, $500?
And we're talking about the 90s, so it's really not a lot of money.
It's not that much. No.
But I mean, how are they good looking? Are they ugly? I mean, if the person's ugly, it's a little bit more money.
Oh, so you're thinking this is gonna be this is gonna be a long-term relationship?
Well, if they have
I'm thinking
amnesia,
that
they're
just
not
to get
going
in
to
the
know.
parking lot.
Yeah, but if they have amnesia, we could pull overboard, and
Yeah,
she
sure.
take, So I mean, it depends.
Could you imagine that? Like, if there's someone out there, with somebody listening, and they're like, "Oh my god, I can't let my wife listen to this episode. It might trigger something. We've been together 30 years, and she doesn't even know who she is."
Well, that's got to be so strange, though, right? I mean, people with amnesia, it just, I get it. People with dementia, they really just don't have a clue what anything was going on, unfortunately. But in amnesia, you're just acting the same. You just have no memory. So that's got to be very bizarre. But then, if you don't remember who you are, or who you're married to, how do you know how to speak English? How do you know how to brush your teeth? How do you know? Shouldn't your memory be gone for everything?
I would think so, unless that frontal lobe is just for remembering people's names and not how to your fine motor skills. Because I would think they would be gone too.
Yeah,
but
I mean everything.
It's bizarre.
Like I mean, it's a serious question. Like I wonder what the not the rules, but when someone gets amnesia, what is affected and why other things are not.
Yeah, now, always in movies, because I've never known anyone with amnesia. Listeners, if you had at sequels only, shoot me a message on Twitter, or you can even.
Well, they're only
going to
forget anyway.
Sequels only. But you're right. In movies, they never have them forget how to do things. The only time they ever have somebody forget is Alzheimer's. They'll have people not be able to do something because they forget.
Correct.
But never with amnesia. Only names or places or memories. But it's never like, I forgot how to open a door. Do I kick it?
A memory should be everything. Whatever you remember how to do, drive a car. You should not know how to drive a car.
Yeah.
Yet. I mean, seriously. I mean, it could go. You could go down forever and name 1,000 things that they should not know how to do. Yet they know how to do everything, but the person they've been living with for 30 years.
Yeah. Oh my god, man. So so then so Candace, in this part, this is where they go to Steve James, right? They go to Steve James. They go to see Marcus the pimp. And I love when the cop's next to her and he goes, "Pull over, we got to talk to him." And at this point, you're like, it goes with the character that you're building, because she's a hooker, and she's like, "Yeah, I don't know about that. I got a pound of coke in the trunk." And she does a sharp turn, and you're like, "Oh my god."
She's just she's nuts in this movie. First of all, she has tons of one-liners throughout the whole movie.
Oh yeah.
And she's just absolutely nuts. Knowing the ending, is she what's her real job? What is she? Is she a cop?
Oh, she's an NSA. She's an NSA.
Oh, she
agent.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, spoiler alert. Yes, she's an NSA agent.
Okay.
Who watched Pretty Woman and My Cousin Vinny over and over and over again, because that's the character that she's playing in this movie. And Don the Dragon didn't have memory of those movies, so he doesn't know that that's who she is.
Okay, so then why would she say that she has coke in the car?
So they don't pull over. So they don't find. If they got her maybe they didn't go do a good cover, and she doesn't have a fake ID that says Candace. She probably say it off.
Or she really has coke in the car.
Maybe she does. The NSA likes to party, man. NSA, no strings attached. And she's a hooker. But so I love Steve James because, like you said, obviously this movie, he passed away before it even came out. And Corman movies come out within 6 months. So So yeah, I wonder if he knew. I have no idea how that all worked. But anyway, so we meet him. He has the earring, and it's so great. In the end of the movie, we get like he does a little Jackson at the end of the movie from American Ninja. What?
I was waiting for him to
take
take
the line.
He did, but I thought he was going to take his shirt off too, because he does that in every movie.
I know.
He does, but he was probably he's probably a little, deflated because of being sick and everything else. So that's probably why he didn't do it. But that's every movie he does that. I mean, he did it in I'm going to get you, sucker. He did the same thing. I mean, he does it in every movie because he's huge. But yeah, I mean, listen, he's awesome, and really it was a shame. But he definitely did not look the same. Like he definitely looked thinner and everything else. For his last movie, I was, you know what, he wasn't himself.
Yeah.
He wasn't himself.
But it was cool to see him play someone. I think
like
your
a straight
monitor, your camera moved. I see the top of your.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. You're good.
That's weird. No, wait. Okay, that's weird.
There you go.
Is it still?
But I think you're good now. You look
Okay.
great. But I think it's always cool to see people play different characters. So this is like a totally different character. You got to think like a year or two before this, Weekend at Bernie's 2, totally different character that he's played. So he's like playing this pimp, and he at one point he's kind of a dick, and then he's like a pimp with a heart of gold because she was like, come on, let's help him out. And he's like, okay, what do you need? A place to stay? And he's like, okay, let me make a call. And you're like, but then you get that line that I love in so many movies. Like so many movies like this, when there's like somebody on the run and somebody slips and says something they shouldn't, when he goes, oh yeah, I can't believe those guys found you in the garage. We didn't tell him that there was anybody in the garage.
Always.
So
they
many
always
movies,
mess up. Yeah. But you know what? Again, talking about him, I thought he's a good actor. I mean, if for most of his parts, I mean, he obviously plays, the tough guy, and he's, but like this was a different range for him, and both roles that he played, I thought he did a good job. Like, if you didn't know him as American Ninja and all those movies, I would think he was like, you know what, he's a good actor. So I think he did a good job.
No, he's great. Like all the roles that he played, even like small little bit parts, like when he's in Weird Science at the jazz club. It's just he has 3 lines, and they're so
it doesn't
good,
make a difference.
Man.
He's such a presence,
Yeah,
but I did write down. I'm like, he's got third billing, and he's dead already. Like I was so mad. I was really like, I'm like, dude, I couldn't wait to see him in a movie, and he was gone within literally 5 minutes.
And the fact that those guys came up so quick, because once he yoked him up, like Marcus threw Don the Dragon against the wall, and then because they heard the car pull up and they saw the guys run, it was like nobody's that fast. They were in the apartment in no time, and then he shoots them, and you're like, when we go to the end of the movie, like, does that make sense? What does that really do to the story?
Were they using blanks the whole movie?
I think so. Well, they didn't use a blank, but they shot him in the head.
But that's the thing. I mean, like, I mean, from that point on, I mean, obviously I guess they were trying to kill. I don't know if they were trying to kill him at that point. Like, but the twist, like, where like the rest of the movie, they were like guiding him throughout the movie to keep him alive and so they get the information from him. So it was like everything else staged, like from the beginning to like the end part, everything was staged.
See, I think most of it was. So the only question that I have is, how about the guy that what was his name? He was on That 70s Show. He's like a million things. His buddy says, we're best friends, man. You're single. He goes, when we get out of this, when we get done with this, we'll go to a nice nightclub and all the girls will be all over us.
How fast he changed his tune, though. Because he's like, you traitor. He kept calling him a traitor. And then after he goes, oh, you don't really remember? All right, yeah, we're best friends. Like, he literally was ready to kill him, I think, or bring him to jail. And then a second later, he's like, nah, we're best friends.
So now that makes sense in a way, but I don't know, was Don Stark like a good guy, or was he a bad guy? Because it would have made me feel like I knew if we saw him at the end. But we don't see him again.
I think
all
it's
of those
planned.
guys. We see those guys get shot.
We? We also saw James get shot.
No, I know. But
So
like,
I think they're in on it too. I think the whole movie is basically setting the stage to lead them closer to get the nukes or whatever they were trying to get, the plutonium or whatever, and they had to go through the stages of each part to get him to that point to where he's going to deliver the suitcase and get it back. And so
Yeah.
I think all this was planned. Like they had everybody was on the cover and everybody just planned it all.
wow, so it was like the game. It was pretty
So
much
it-
the game before the game came out.
It was. And listen, you know what? Now that I'm looking at it this way, very creative writing. If that's the case, very creative writing.
Yeah, because I was thinking about that. I'm like, so, and that makes sense that you just said that he changed his tune so quick. Because in the moment, I just thought like, but now it totally makes sense. He was like, oh, this guy doesn't know anything.
Well,
So
because
let's
he could have been faking it. He could have said, "Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
remember anything," but remembers everything. For the fact that guy says, "Oh, he really doesn't remember."
Well, yeah, when
What
he calls
made
the
him-
doctor.
Yeah.
because he grabbed the phone. And he was like this. He was like, oh, really? Oh, yeah, thank you, doctor. And he's like, you really don't remember.
I mean, he really didn't do much to persuade anybody that he doesn't remember.
I know.
Yeah,
I know.
so it was such a quick switch that I think it was all planned. And listen, if this movie is what we're talking about right now, and it's the 5th movie, are all the other 4 this creative and twisty?
I really don't think the first 2 aren't. His brother dies
Right.
in a tournament.
Oh,
Second one, I think he goes back to it. Third one, he has to fight in prison. It's called Forced to Fight. And I don't know about the fourth one, but no, honestly, we're talking about one of the most creatively written movies. If it's really, wow, it's crazy. Now, if I watch it again, each scene is everyone's in on it. Is it like Jury Duty? Is it like that show Jury Duty?
that's what I'm saying.
Is he Ron?
It might be.
Is he Ron?
It might be. And now that I think about it, since he plays a different character in every movie, does he have amnesia in every movie? And
Could you imagine that?
and that's how they're connected for a franchise. Because if there's nothing else connecting him but the actor, but he has a different name, it's because he doesn't remember who he is.
Yeah. Oh my
Okay.
god. So now they go to the hotel. They get away. They go to a hotel, and she goes, "Man, it's so weird going here and not having to work because it's like but it's probably a motel by the hour." But
It looked very shady.
very, very shady.
Yeah.
And then he calls 411 trying to look for himself. And he goes, oh, that number's unlisted. And she goes, you look like somebody would have a unlisted number.
What does that mean?
I don't know.
Like a lot of her lines. I mean, she's. I just very silly.
And then from there, she goes into, she knows the dollar amount of every item of clothing that he's wearing. And then when you think about it even more, it makes sense that he isn't like, I don't think an agent would dress the way that she's describing their clothes. That sounds exactly what he really is.
And
you know?
the fact that she knew exactly how much everything was, either we know she's not really a hooker. So the fact that they probably bought the clothes for him.
Oh my God.
See? And that's
she
why
had
she
receipts.
And she had the receipts and she knows exactly how much everything cost. Because
She cheated Price is Right. She knew
Listen,
everything.
if she was really a hooker, then you know what? She has high-end, customers that wear those kind of clothes and she would know how much it is. But
That's true.
She's not a hooker. So she knew exactly why, because she bought it all.
You're right. Oh my God. She's like, oh, that belt, that alligator belt, $300. She's like going through each thing. That suit, $1,000. Yeah. So
okay.
amazing. God, this is like, whoa. My mind's
where-
even more blown now.
So where did they think they got those clothes? Like that are his? Like why was his clothes there?
Oh, I think that's what was in the hospital. I guess it didn't get blood on it, or they sent it out for dry cleaning.
Like he didn't question it? Like why are these clothes okay.
That's what he got brought in, because that's what he was running
I know.
away in the beginning of the movie. So yeah,
Oh,
it
was the same exact clothes that he
well, I don't know.
So you're telling me
he was
okay.
running a suit in
Okay.
the beginning of the movie.
Okay. So you're telling me not only did they give him a haircut, the hospital, but they dry cleaned his clothes.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, he jumped in the reservoir or the river that the clothes are probably wet, dirty, like crap, and they look super nice and pressed right now.
Yeah.
So, and again, no blood. So, okay. So that's a hospital I want to go to. You can get a
That's a pretty
shave
good
and a
hospital.
haircut. Yeah. Okay.
I'm thinking about slipping in a coma next Tuesday. Get all set up, you know. I love the villain in this movie. That his thing, like villains always have quirks in movies. This guy is obsessed with flowers, and he's a florist. And his thing in the dude, I've never laughed so hard. Like we've seen in movies, like in Beverly Hills Cop. What are they doing? Shipping the Coke in coffee cans, right?
Yep. Coffee.
Is that Beverly Hills Cop?
beans? Wasn't it coffee beans?
Oh, and coffee beans. Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
So in this one, he's shipping whole guns. Not like you'd sell half a gun, but it was like a full big. It was like a big gun in like a potted plant with no dirt in it. When the pot broke when he kicked it, it was just a gun fell out.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think they thought it through. But yeah, that's a little ridiculous. Unless they put like maybe a flower at the end of the gun, so it looks like it's part of the flower.
Oh my god! But this scene, familiar faces in the ring shopping scene.
Where
Two of them?
Okay, yeah, but okay, the guy from Mad TV,
Michael McDonald. Yeah.
Where? Like, I don't think I've ever seen him in a movie. I mean,
he was in a. Oh, dude, he's in. Austin Powers. Stop.
Oh, okay.
That's him.
Okay, that would make sense then for being an Austin
Halloween
Powers
Kills.
movie. If you're him.
No.
Oh, he was in Halloween Kills. I don't know if I saw that.
Yeah,
one.
he's him and his boyfriend. They're Big John and Little John. Such a funny scene. Little John, you okay? Big John, are you okay?
He did not fit. I mean, for this kind of movie, he did not fit because all I was thinking of Mad TV when I saw him. Like it just didn't.
Stuart?
I don't know. Yeah,
Let me do it. He's so funny. He's great in so much. I haven't seen him in stuff lately, but I feel like he shows up on like a Curb. He's in like, but even in this, his role is to me ridiculous because he's like, oh, Mister, because he says his name. So wait, so is he a plant?
Yes,
because he would know that this guy really doesn't have a wife. Oh
Correct.
my god!
They listen at this point. Every scene he's in, except for when he's exchanging the suitcase, everybody's in on it.
Oh my god!
So listeners,
they have to be. Just we have to say it now because we're like pussyfooting around it. But at the end of the movie, Don the Dragon Wilson is actually not in the NSA, which we're going to talk about. That they reveal that he is in. He's actually like a Chinese operative. He's a bad guy, and Steve James, Candace, Denise Duff, they're NSA, and throughout this whole movie, there's so many people that refer to him as his NSA cover, but it's not real. Like none of it's real. So even in the scene, Michael McDonald's in on it because he's like, "Oh, Mr. what's it, Cordero or something? I don't even know. Oh, how you doing?"
Yeah.
And then he gives away his address. Oh yeah, do you have my new address? And he says it, and he's like, "Oh yeah, Century City." Oh,
Again, why would he assume that he's in the NSA if he didn't know?
Oh, I know.
If he's not really in it, he shouldn't assume it. So, like I said, I'm assuming outside of the guy that has the plutonium, it is plutonium they're going after, right?
Well, to me, no joke, the plutonium thing came out of left field because in the beginning, the first time when Don Stark's talking to him, and he's like, "Oh, we're buddies." He's like, "Yeah, you're infiltrating them because there is Babu Bot is a freaking Benedict Arnold, and he's actually trying to make money off of this." And because at first, it's not even about plutonium. The first thing we hear about is like human trafficking. That's the first thing. And then out of nowhere, when he opens up that suitcase, I'm like, plutonium? That's like not what this whole beginning thing was about.
Yeah. So again, but that's what the rest of the movie's about. So you know, it just I know. Again, I think they have too many twists for their own good, and they just because it just a lot of it didn't make sense. You know, I mean.
Well, to me, it doesn't make sense when we watch it in a way,
right.
But it's funny whenever we review these movies and you really think about it, like the fact that he bought, like there was probably something cheaper than $5,100 bracelet that he could have bought her, and like does he know that he has that much credit to be able to buy that?
I was saying, where did he get the money from? And how did he know how much money he had? Right. So they must have, like, again, somehow, that part I didn't know. Like, I mean, like,
yeah, because she gave him the ring.
Yes.
She knew that the ring, it was engraved that said that was the place
Correct.
that it was from. So it was like, it was all a setup. But you notice Sharon Lawrence?
But
was
wait
in
a
this
second.
movie?
But
Yeah.
the ring was real because he did have a wife.
Yeah, but that wasn't his wedding ring. That was a ring that they planned, or maybe somehow she read something on the engraving and said, "Oh, you bought this from so and so." I don't know. Do they engrave rings and say like, "Hey, we bought this"?
No, I think that was just really his wedding ring.
Oh, okay.
Why? I mean, because again, they had to mention his wife in real life that he might have, they think he
At the
might have
end,
killed
yeah.
her. So
Yeah.
like, so I think that really was his wedding ring. But like, yeah.
But in that scene, and she was like just like a jewelry store. Sharon Lawrence, who was on like she won I think she won a SAG award. She was nominated for some Emmys. She was on, what the heck show was she on? She was on Picket Fences, NYPD Blue. That's where she won her Emmy, or she was nominated. But she was on NYPD Blue for a long time. And she's randomly in this movie, just like just in the store. But yeah, that's so funny thinking about that. Michael McDonald scene. So he was in on it. Somebody showed up and said, "Oh yeah," or maybe everybody in the store was in on it. Like it was just some big like ruse. Like,
This really is jury duty. I mean, it's like
It
jury
really
duty.
is.
Yeah. So maybe jury duty got their idea from this movie.
yeah, because now we talk about it, makes sense. My note says, wouldn't he know that that's not Mrs. Stanton? Like if he comes in that much that he knows his name,
Correct.
He would
Correct.
know, hey, that's not Mrs. Stanton.
Okay,
and you know what? They
but-
set that thing up pretty quick.
But wait a second. But what is he gonna? He's gonna rat him out if he's having
maybe.
an affair.
Maybe that's true.
I mean, they're not gonna call. I mean, you might give him a wink, like, hey, I know that's not Mrs. Stanton, whatever. But yeah, he's not gonna rat him out if that was, the case. But I just think
that's true.
they knew everything. No.
God, that's wild. That's really wild to think about. It.
Listen, we could be way off, and like,
No,
I
think you're 100% right. I think it's all a setup because now when we think about the apartment, like, because while you're watching it, you're not rewatching. It's like when you see the movie The Game. The
Yeah.
first time you see The Game, like it's hard to rewatch it because it's like once you know the twist, but you're watching for those little things. You're like, holy shit, this is all like all these people are like actors in this. So even when he breaks into his apartment, and
so wait, unless I missed it, how did he know where he lives?
Oh, he asked Michael McDonald for the address. He said, "Do you know my new address? Can you tell me the address you have in there, just so I make sure you have my new one?" And he read it back.
Okay. Again,
that's it.
It's that easy to get personal information, like just like that. And again,
Well,
without
he knew
showing
him.
any ID.
I know, but he knew him. He called him out. He goes, Mr. Stanton."
Okay. All right.
So that's how that worked. But man, and then he goes in there. He has the passports with the multiple names. So there's one like Michael and one with another name. So he's trying to figure out like, why do I have these? Like he's so confused. And here's this is when they catch him, right? Right away. This is when the agents. Oh no! I'm sorry.
No,
the elevator scene.
It's the elevator scene, and then I was gonna say they blew up the door, but that was later on. So yeah, this is the elevator scene which
oh my God,
happens every single time when the bad guy tries to get in there, the door is shut just in time.
Oh,
now,
honey,
I know how
my wallet.
Off. But I mean, like when he opens it later on, and the guy's right there, like so many people when I'm in an elevator, I try to close it because I don't want to wait anymore, and they somehow are always getting their hand in there, and they're always able to open it. Bad guys never could time it right.
I know. But the worst is it's like, oh yeah, we have to go back up. And those guys, because he saw the gun after the lady dropped something. So that's when he like said like, oh honey, I forgot my wallet. But the best was that when you saw that when they called, as soon as they got off the elevator, they called to a guy. A guy said, let's go. You saw all these guys come out of a van. They're on the first floor, okay? I don't know what a floor Dragon's apartment was, but the fact that they opened the elevator door and the guys are there, like all of the NSA or the CIA, whoever's waiting for them is there ready to take him down.
Yeah. And again, they all attack him one at a time.
Until the roof. Once they get to the roof, there's only so far they can go.
Well, because only one guy was in shape to jog the whole time, so that's why. But again, even when he's fighting now, these are security. This is like the NSA, whatever, and they all get knocked out with one punch, like one punch, always. Like, is it? I mean, unless you're like, yes, Mike Tyson's punching you, it's very possible you can knock that one punch. But not for nothing, he's a small guy. He's not really that big, but somehow he's able to punch really hard to knock everybody out.
Everybody, one punch. That's
punch.
what he does, and he takes everyone out.
Everyone.
No good fight. Even the end fight, I wish it was shot better. It was shot good in the beginning, and then they did like this POV thing. Yeah. That was probably like a trend at the time.
I was gonna say the camera was like the best part because you can just see like everything from the point of view of the kicks and everything.
Yeah.
But even when he's fighting Oddjob, like Oddjob was a stocky guy. His punches didn't do anything to when he was landing a bunch of them. And not for nothing for Oddjob, he did an impressive spinning kick for a fat little guy.
He did.
But the dragon punches him and knocks him out.
Yeah.
But the other punches don't land. It's just like ridiculous. He got hands of steel.
Yeah, and Oddjob has really small arms because the one punch that he does, it was like. Oh my god, man! But so this is when they fight in the, like we said, like again, 1-on-1. The fights. I wish there was like better fights in this movie.
Yeah.
Because really
more,
makes quick work.
More fights.
Yeah, more fights and just like better fights. To like even the end fight, I wish it could have been like better. It was still cool to see like Steve James versus him. But anyway, then he fights everyone, and then finally a guy pulls a gun out and he stops. Finally, all these guys running after him finally pull a gun out.
But then again, if this goes with our theory, they can't kill him, so that's why they had to wait. But like I was saying the same thing. I go, you have all these security guards. No one has a gun with him. Clearly, he's knocking everybody out. One of them has to have a gun to stop this guy.
You're right, and it makes sense, right? What's even crazier is when you think about the end of the movie when they're like, "But you shot me," because they needed him.
Yep.
In order to get information they needed, even though he was a Chinese operative, but they shot him because they said they had to because he was running away. Why can't they do it now? That made no sense too.
I know. Unless again, they were such a good shot that they were able to just get the part with the memory and keep him alive, and then miss the rest of the movie because the rest of the movie, even when they're shooting, they can't hit anything. Although he does get shot once in the arm.
Yeah. Well, what if the doctor was in on it too, and it was a fake hospital, and all the doctor said was, "You have amnesia," and then he just like believed, "Oh, I have amnesia."
What
or
if
the doctor damaged his frontal lobe?
How do we know he was really shot?
Well, we didn't see any. There was no.
We didn't see any blood. There's no scars or nothing.
Nothing. Nothing at all.
Okay.
Well, yeah, somehow, but yeah, they're arrested for treason, and and then it's so funny, like when we talk about with Don Stark when he goes, "Yeah, you remember," and then finally when the doctor says, like, "Oh, he really doesn't remember," uncuff him, like that quick, and then he goes, "We're gonna set you once you finish this and you make the handoff. We're gonna get you guys new identities. You guys gonna move somewhere nice," and you're like, "Okay, like this happened pretty quick, right?"
And
his name's
she's
Mikey
like,
now.
Again, how long has he known her that like she's gonna get a new identity with him? Like this.
Why? Well, maybe I was thinking that'd be like really weird if it's like, okay, guys, you guys are together, so you're gonna have to move to my blue heaven.
But
you guys are married now. Considering
that wasn't a plan at all. Again, he was never gonna get a new identity.
Never. Yeah. It would have been great to see Don Stark at the end. That would make me feel a little bit better right now about the end of the movie. Like the knowing, like really, if I, like still 90% of the movie that we see, people in the movie are in on it. But if those guys are in it too, that's even crazier. Is that whole scene?
If they were in the room when they finally told him, if they were in the background of the room when Chosen was there and everybody was there, James, and then you see him in the background like that, that was a time for him to be there.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
there's only one line. Yeah.
I was going to say, I don't want to ruin our theory right now. So even though he wasn't there and there's a possibility we're wrong, I'm going to stick with we're right.
Yeah, I don't think we're wrong. I just think it's something that they didn't need to, because we saw like basically like two people like 3 people that were bad actually like be turned. But it's funny, at the end of the movie, there was only one line. I'll talk about it then, but I just want to mention a little bit now. But there was only one line when that got revealed, the end, like, oh, you're actually a Chinese operative. There's one line that the bad guy says that made me feel like, holy
But the old
shit.
bad guy?
Yeah, the old man. He says something. He goes, I took care of you. And he goes, you did nothing for me.
Right.
I'm like,
right.
but now really, he probably really loved this guy. Maybe you've known him his whole life.
Maybe that's his dad. I thought it was his dad.
And he murdered him.
Well, and let me tell you something. For being the head bad guy, he did nothing. Like, he died in like 2 seconds. Like, I expected him to like start having a karate fight also, and like just taking him on.
Why a karate fight?
Because everybody's doing karate in the movie.
No. How about the fact that he escapes Don the Dragon Wilson with like a little spin move, and then seconds later he comes back with a gun, opens the door, and doesn't have the gun up already. He has to open the door, then lift the Uzi, and then he gets shot. So he wasn't prepared to open that door. But
No, he wasn't.
maybe he didn't. But now thinking about it, he probably didn't want to shoot maybe his nephew or somebody he's known his whole life that was like a son to him. So maybe that's why he hesitated, and then boom. He was hoping that whoever Don the Dragon Wilson, whatever his real name was, really in that moment remembered. But
he
did
knew.
not.
He knew who he really was.
Not at that point. He didn't know that he was
No, I'm talking about the bad
Chinese
guy.
operative.
Oh.
But the bad guy thought he was who he was. He knew that he was a Chinese operative.
Yeah.
That's what I mean.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Okay. No, but he was
I'm saying
working
Don the
for
Dragon.
him.
He was. I'm saying that, but that whole time, Don the Dragon wasn't. He was acting like he didn't know him.
Right. Don
And
the
he was
Dragon.
trying to kill him. Yeah, that's what I mean.
Okay,
so I'm
okay,
thinking
gotcha.
that main henchman guy, when he pulled the gun out, probably hesitated because he's probably like, I know this guy. I know this guy really well. I don't want to kill him. But Don the Dragon didn't have that same feeling because he had no idea who he was.
Right.
So.
Okay.
Oh my god, dude. and this is where I wrote here. Oh, there must be a traitor in the NSA because the bad guys are here. The bad guys are at like within seconds. They're there where Don Stark is, telling about you and me. Like, we're gonna go to a club when this is all done. We're gonna get all those ladies. Man, you like the ladies.
And again, just like a second ago, he was ready to he was calling him a traitor. I mean, so yeah.
Oh my god, man. So everybody gets killed. Like everybody in there, they somehow are the only two that makes sense. The other ones are all fake killed.
Okay.
And then
The fact that she's alive throughout the whole movie, I mean, how many shootouts and everything else that, she's gone through, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But the one line that he says when he goes, but what about my wife? And he says to him, wife? You love being single, buddy.
Yeah, I wrote that down.
But that briefcase had $600K in it. So, of course, he took that briefcase. They ran out.
See,
and,
so now isn't that a weird number? I know we discussed money, in
weird
other ones.
number. Yeah.
Weird number,
600,000.
right? Isn't it? Yeah, okay. Is there a significant, 600,000? Why wouldn't they just go straight to $1 million?
Or just do 500. Like these normal 250, 500.
Right.
Right. I think so.
Right, 600. That's just so weird. Okay.
600,000. But yeah, so Michael Wilkes is his name, and he calls. So this was even crazier. If they told, so this is the only part that sort of does make sense to me. So if they set him up to pretend to be an agent, right? When he calls the NSA, and they're like Michael Wilkes, and they're like badge number. He's like, I don't know, I have amnesia.
Yeah.
Michael Wilkes. See, that made no sense to me. Why wouldn't they have said something like, okay, meet us at the corner of 4th and 9th? They could have. Because if
they said that, they would show up. He would realize they're not showing up when he went there. They weren't going to show up.
Somebody would have showed up, no?
Why would they show up?
Steve James would have came and got him, or somebody would have came and got him.
He was already dead. He thought he was dead already. Why would Steve James?
Yeah, but he could have. Oh yeah. Well, somebody could have shown up because when he goes to when he actually goes to the NSA, there's 47 bodyguards waiting for it, security guards.
What if they're not really NSA?
I know,
and that's why when he calls, you have some guy on the other end, like, what do I do? Like, how, just pretend
hell
like you
is
can't.
this
Yeah. So, like, because maybe they're just, again, maybe they're bad guys that are just trying to get the suitcase also.
Yeah. That could have been something too. But once we knew, like, obviously, like, I guess once that'd be like the twist of at the very end. It was like even another twist at the very end. But no, the fact that like Michelle, she worked like Michelle, she like worked for them too. But yeah, I don't know. That's a great point because nobody knew who he was. I would think they'd be like, "Oh, Michael, how you been? Like, how's the family?"
Right.
Just like Don Stark did. Like, why didn't that guy, when he brought that briefcase in, say that? No, nothing.
And why? And when they had the briefcase, like, why didn't they just grab it then? Like, they were following him the whole movie. Why, like, not set up some kind of sting when the exchange was going on?
Yeah. It makes no sense.
It makes no sense because they were literally everywhere the whole movie, like in seconds. His hotel, his room, whatever, all that. Yet when the exchange was happening, no one was around except for the bad guys, the real bad guys.
Chosen was there. Was Chosen with them at that point?
No,
when he was pretending to be a bad guy. No,
I don't think he was there.
So
you don't see Chosen again until later
real
on.
People getting shot because I think real people were getting shot then.
That's what I mean. So that's
guys.
why the NSA wasn't there. So if they were there, real people wouldn't be getting shot. So like, why weren't they there?
Real
though?
people die. Like,
well, to get
you know what? You know what probably happened? Maybe the real meetup point was at a setup place, and they didn't have time because remember Michael Don the Dragon changed the meeting place because Brian George Babu Bhatt said, "Oh, this is the place we're gonna go." But one thing I did love, and I love this in movies when like they have like the secret messages, like you call like what you think's like a pizzeria.
Yep.
When they answer, they're like, "What's your badge number?"
Yeah.
But when they when the voicemail that they needed to listen to was a hot chick at a club. Yeah, 555-4727, and then he calls it, and it's Brian George answers the phone, and then he's like, "Oh no, we're gonna meet at this other place," and then they go there, and then shit hits the fan.
So okay, Brian George, he looked familiar. Where do I know him from?
I just said Babu Bhatt, Seinfeld, Babu.
Oh, Babu. Okay, yeah. Well, you said Babu Bhatt. I don't. That's
what's his
Babu.
last name?
Yeah, I know, but okay. Yeah, okay, that's where it was. I knew it, and I'm like, all right. I didn't even realize he was in movies.
Oh, dude, yeah, I think he's in Austin Powers. Powers or one of those. He plays, he's in Austin Powers. He's one of in the United Nations when they make the phone call.
Okay.
I feel like he's one of those guys. He's in a ton of stuff.
Just like you don't realize it, and you don't realize it, and then you watch it again, you'll see him.
Because he looks different, and his name's Brian George. Like, I feel like he put makeup on to be Babu, or got like more of a tan. Because
I went to school with a Jim George.
And what was Jim George?
He was Indian.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And really? Wow.
Last name's George. So I think George is, it could be a common Indian name. So I mean, I don't know.
Or they just or a mixed marriage. They married Bob George from Queens, met a girl that moved over here from India. No, but he just said his complexion looked totally different.
Yeah. No, it was funny. Yeah. It's funny when he was there though. I'm like, when I first saw him, I'm like, that is the worst disguise ever. I thought he was wearing like a fake beard and glasses.
Oh.
It was just so bushy and like it just looked like it was like a fake disguise.
Yeah, very silly, very very silly.
Okay,
but so then right after this is when again, Denise, Candy, Michelle, she knows what's going on, so she's playing up real good. And it's funny later in the movie, and he goes, "Yeah, she's a great actress." Sometimes she was too into the part because when she's crying in the shower and then she's and I love when the dragon tries to leave her and because
she runs out in a blanket.
Dude, no, she runs out in the shower curtain. Oh no, you're right, the blanket.
No, a blanket because she said to put his curtain on as a second. But first of all, again, they didn't hook up yet. She's sleeping naked in the bed.
They didn't hook up at all.
No, they hook up later on. Oh, later on.
At the very end of the movie. Like the end of the movie.
So they're sharing a hotel room and she's sleeping naked? Because she ran out in a blanket like she's going somewhere. But first of all, when she was crying in the shower and he's walking close to the door, I thought he was gonna go in there and, coddle her. But no, he turned around and said no.
He's like, nah, I don't want to do this. That's the part that was with the person sitting next
He's
to me.
probably like, oh, then I got to listen to her complain and, you know.
But no, her line is funny when he's like, okay, because he gives in real quick. He's like, no, you can't go. No, you can go. She's like, all right, fine. And then he goes, you know, wear that? And she says, I don't know. I might change it to the shower curtain.
So dumb.
So many good one-liners.
She had all the one-liners. Like, I don't think anyone else had one-liners but her.
But now we are talking to the next part, because this is one that I had like a double question mark next to. So when he goes to the doctor, which is supposedly the doctor from the hospital, he goes to schedule. So
isn't the laundromat next?
Is the laundromat next?
I thought the laundromat was next. Oh, was it a doctor or a laundromat?
No,
When he thought he was going.
No, he was going to the doctor's office, and he thought that it wasn't really a doctor because he thought it was another sort of hidden message. The NSA, because he didn't know the phone number thing yet, like we mentioned before.
Okay.
He didn't know that it was like check the other Brian door. They said listen to your messages. So the first one was the one from the doctor. Don't forget to schedule an appointment.
Right.
So when he goes there, she's like, he's with a patient. She's like,
oh yeah,
well, let him know it's me. He's like, let him know I'm here. And then she's like, okay. I talked to the doctor, and he wants to see you in 3 weeks. And he's like, 3 weeks? Does he know it's me?
Doesn't he go like, oh yeah, the doctor, his patient, or something like that? Like,
yeah.
I mean, like between this and a laundromat, like it was like such comical, like.
Oh, I know you're talking. Yeah, the dry cleaners.
Yeah, the dry cleaners.
That was hilarious. Yes.
But same thing with this. Like this, I don't know which one came first.
Yeah, I don't know which one, but you're right. I love when he's like, "What are you doing back here?" And he goes, $22.
Well, you heard like the music, like he like something's going on behind there, so he thinks the guy's like, you know, and so see him walk over there because that's the number he got that he ended up going there, and that was pretty funny. So,
God, that was really funny. Yeah, 2 covers in a row. Yeah. He thought it was really it was just the other number.
Yeah.
Oh my God! But the fact that, like I said earlier, like the fact that now the whole thing's a radioactive, like the plutonium out of nowhere, because at first it was a Chinese smuggling. I thought it was smuggling people. Like really, I swear it was that, but maybe it was just smuggling, and they was smuggling plutonium, I guess. But when that was
maybe it was a cover.
Thing, yeah. Well, was anything real? I don't know what's real. What's real? What is this? What is this?
This could be like Total Recall. I mean, you know, we don't know what's real and what's not.
Yeah.
maybe he's thinking about this all in his coma.
Oh my God, this is a Jacob's Ladder. He died. He died in that river, and that's it.
That's it.
Roll credits. He was actually dead. But so then like we talked about, they go to like some like cheesy bar, like whatever that was, like some rando bar set.
It was a cheesy bar, yeah.
And they're getting ready to make the exchange, and in seconds, they're there. The bad guys.
And you're gonna do an exchange like this major. I mean, really, it's major at a bar. Like, I mean, like this is plutonium. Like, this is like it's such a I would think like. And how much money was 600,000?
600,000. Well, it's a little less than that because he tried to give her like $1,000 to go see her aunt in Arizona, and she goes, I don't have an aunt in Arizona. But later in the movie, she goes, "Oh my gosh, I actually do have an aunt in Arizona."
Yeah, because that was important to like mention. You lied about everything else, but that she didn't lie about.
yeah, that was true. And my parents did really abandon me.
Yeah, but I mean, like, so first of all, I like the fact that they have her sitting in the booth right next to him. You know, so
the old
like, the old like let me eavesdrop. And again, like this is a major exchange. First of all, that guy's gonna come alone. Like, I mean, this is a major exchange.
Oh, well, Brian George is sort of like he's a traitor in his eyes. Like,
no, I know, but I mean, he wouldn't come alone. I don't think he'd do this alone.
I don't know. Can you trust anybody that you know? You're doing something super illegal for $600,000.
He trusts the dragon because he goes to the dragon. You don't trust me, so
I know. Yeah.
So okay.
Yeah, but this whole scene, it's like a big shoot 'em up. Brian George saves the day because he does the old table flip. He shoots one of the henchmen.
He does, and Dragon does the typical dive over the bar when I don't think anyone was shooting at him at the time. Like he just basically just ran it over the bar. So Does that like? I mean, like you see that in every movie. Why doesn't they just shoot through the bar? I mean, because the bars are usually the bars are hollow, right? You know, because you have like it's just the outer coating. Like everybody hides behind a bar.
Yeah, even tables. Bullets go through tables, right?
Yeah.
Bullets
So
go
it
through
would go through the bar.
sheetrock,
So I mean, like,
so-
yeah.
Not a good place to hide. I guess because it's like maybe they don't see where you are, but an Uzi, just go
And
through
like
across.
I would think you're gonna hurt yourself diving over a bar. I mean, you're
Oh,
diving like every movie dives over a bar, and like you're gonna land on your wrist. You're gonna bang your head off it on the shelf. Like somehow they do a clean dive every time.
Yeah, they should have thrown in a sound effect of a. I love the one fight. Every punch had the same sound effect. Like it sounded like a rib crack. Like no matter where he punched on the guy.
I want to know where that sound effect came from because obviously they use it in a lot of movies. Like, but like, what made them think like, you know what, this is what a punch should sound like when it clearly doesn't sound anything like a punch. Yeah, I mean, just well, I'm just curious where that started from.
I don't know. It's always so funny in movies when you hear those, but
It is. It really is. So.
Yeah, because punches don't really. You don't hear
Nothing.
much from.
No, you don't hear anything. And okay, not for nothing. I mean, like you punch someone in the head, it hurts your hand. These guys are landing punches left and right, and like nothing with their hands. Like again, their hands are so strong.
So after this, Don's smart enough to grab both briefcases, so he's out. So he has a plutonium and 600K. So he's pretty good right now. And then this is where he goes to the NSA, and Chosen's waiting. I love the fact that this security guard at the NSA,
Okay.
he has this dimwit open up a briefcase with plutonium because the guy opens it, he goes,
Okay, the security at the NSA, all of them were because first of all, when he calls for backup, it was one guy that showed up,
yeah,
and then the backup came after that. But like the guy at the security, he did nothing. He was a waste. All I did was tug on the suitcase.
I know. That's
I mean,
all.
Yeah.
No, you're right. Like those guys, I did get like commando vibes. Obviously, Don the Dragon
100%.
didn't do that, but when they were all around him and he was like
Yeah.
just looking around, but he just made But it makes sense. He could make quick work of him because they were in on it, right?
And maybe that's why they all got knocked out with one punch. They're like, listen, we all got to take one punch and just fall down.
Yeah.
That's what. Again, you brought up Commando. At least like in Commando, they had tackled all at once. That one scene where he does like and even in American Ninja, they all tackled him in the bar. One all
Oh
once.
yeah.
So like maybe here it's
But
like
then,
listen,
whoa, in American Ninja 2, they do tackle them all at once, but then he throws them all off of him.
but so does
all
Arnold
at once.
in Commando.
No,
So
I
does-
know.
And don't forget American Ninja, you also hear the bowling pin sound when he does it.
So good.
But I mean, so maybe that's why they're all attacking at once. Like I said, I mean, just one punch, just fall on the ground, get knocked out, and make him. Maybe he doesn't really even know karate. They just like keep pretending like he's kicking their ass when he's really not doing anything.
Could you imagine that? That'd be great in a movie too. It's almost like The Man Who Knew too little in a way.
Oh.
Yeah.
That is one of the funniest movies, man. If you
It
haven't
is
seen it in
really
a while,
funny.
you got to see it again. It's basically
it's
the
so
game.
good.
It's the game.
Yeah. Well, it's
the same-
it's pretty. Yeah, it's the same
so
exact
funny.
thing.
Yeah, it is. It's so funny.
But at this point, Candace was taken by the real bad guy.
Correct.
And the real bad guy's torturing her by putting acupuncture needles into her eye.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's it. Like the one in her. I guess it was maybe pressure points because like they had just one in her face that she was like screaming. But the second one was that in her eyeball. Was that
like
in the
right
eyeball?
below?
Yeah,
it was like
it was
right,
as close-
right below it. I'm like, whoa.
So at that point, why don't you stick it in her eyeball?
Oh yeah. That was next, I guess.
And so she said, "I'll talk now." So what information did she give them?
Yeah, I don't know. That's a great question because he's like, "Where is she? Where is he?" And then in my mind, I'm like,
Why would
she
she know?
really know?
First
The
of all.
only thing she would say was the hotel. That's the only place I know of him to go.
Right.
And you
Right.
guys know where he lives already, I'm sure.
Right.
But
right.
my favorite character in this entire movie is the sleazy hotel worker. Do you remember what he says?
No.
He says, "Hey, a guy called for you." That was it. No name, no message, just that. And Don the Dragon took it. Okay, a guy called for me. Which guy? Who could have called? If it was like a girl call through, then it's like, all right, I know who that is. It's probably Candace. She wants to talk to me. No,
according to the dragon's best friend, well, Dragon likes being single, so it could have been many girls.
He loves, yeah, but they would know he's at some sleazy, pay by the hour motel.
How do you know? That's where he brings him.
Oh, could you imagine that? That's the spot. Oh my god, man. So the bad guys show up to the hotel, and how about that? That was a good thing. So what bad guy showed up? Oh, Odd Job and another
Odd Job, yeah.
Because at this point, the main bad guy, the florist bad guy,
he's with the girl.
He hated Chosen at this point, right? Didn't he say like?
I didn't think Chosen was.
Chosen
doesn't show up and.
No, I think he got fake killed at one point. Well, during one of these things, I think he fake died.
He did.
Yeah,
he did. That's why I don't remember him too much in the movie until the end.
Yeah, because the other henchman, because he said, "Don't fail me again" to Odd Job, because he told Chosen the one time, "You failed me too many times."
Right.
So maybe he like fake got shot during the NSA scene. But anyway, so when they show up and he just has the shower.
Wait a second. So Chosen. The main bad guy is with Chosen, but Chosen's with the NSA.
Chosen's the plant too.
The main bad guy doesn't know that? Like, know that Chosen... How long has Chosen been with that guy to be his number one?
I don't know.
So you're telling me this plan has been going on for that long that Chosen's able to get himself so close to the main bad guy that he becomes the number one?
We've seen that in a lot of movies that somehow these guys break in and they get to the top.
Or is he a plan for the NSA? I mean, for the bad guy into the NSA, like Donnie Brasco.
Oof, maybe.
Okay.
The double switch.
Okay.
Double agent.
All right.
Could be that. But so they show up, but he's ready for him. They come in, they fire at the shower, which the people next door probably are dead. There's a room right next door firing at it.
When I heard the shower at first, I'm like, you got to be kidding me. There's going to be 2 shower scenes in this movie? Because, I mean, it's you get 1 shower scene, fine, but you can have 2 shower scenes? And then, the more I thought, as soon as I got there, I'm like, all right, he's not in the shower. Like, you knew
what if he was in there crying? What if he was in there crying?
See, that would have been pretty funny. That would have been
good. Well, yeah, so they shoot up, and what's he doing? He's doing the old lay down in the car, and he's going to follow them. So he finds out where they're at. And I wanted to write something down to tell people, like if we were bad guys, we were talking about before, we would offer health insurance day one. You can casual Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Casual, yep. Yeah.
And then also, but one thing, no headphones on the job. This guy cranking his Walkman, and he can hear a guy climbing in the window behind him. And I love that Don doesn't even make quick work of him without him looking, like maybe like a karate chop or a punch to the head, like with him just still rocking out. He has to startle the guy. He goes, "Huh?" And he takes off his headphones just to get knocked out.
Yeah, just to get everybody got knocked out.
Yeah. But man, he sneaks up on him. So this is the part where he comes out of nowhere. Like you had the main bad guy helping, like watching his guys put the pot of plants in with the guns.
Yep.
And that's when he tells Odd Job, like, you failed me. You got to make sure you kill him. So he walks out of the room to go back to see Candace. And that's when Don comes in and beats the shit out of everyone. Like
everybody.
Pretty quickly. Odd Job fight is a little bit.
And like I said,
long.
and like he landed a few punches, but like they didn't startle him. But somehow Dragon's punches knocked out Odd Job.
But he did kill a guy, so he is killing his own people in a way.
He is.
So like maybe, oh my god, wait, no wonder why the guy was startled. He was probably like, "Hey, I know you, man. We're buddies. Why are you coming through the window?" And then, "Whoa, you're gonna kill me?"
He was surprised.
Guy,
yeah.
Yeah, and even the other guy, they snapped his neck. Because remember, he's like holding the guy, and I was like, "Oh, sleeper hold," and then it's like,
"Yep."
I'm like,
"Oh, the sound
shit.
effects to the broken neck was ridiculous."
Yeah. But wow, that's why the guy was startled. Not the fact that a guy was coming in to kill him, but the fact that a guy that he's known for a really long time just startled him.
Surprised him. Yeah.
Wow. He's probably like, "Whoa, we haven't seen you in 4 weeks. Where you been?" You miss bowling.
Well, besides casual Tuesdays, we do get 4 weeks PTO.
Oh, 4 weeks. Yeah, true. Yep. And we have a softball team. We take on the other bad guys in the city and their henchmen.
We take on the gang from the Warriors.
Gang from the Warriors, Joker, 1989 Joker, bad guys. But so now Dragon has a gun, and now he's going after the florist. He's trying to find out, and says, if she's dead, so are you. And the door's locked. And this is what's crazy to me. Like, this guy's old. Well, I don't know. Is he old? Is he really old? Like, he could be like 40.
Oh, easy. No, he's
old. I'm saying like the Wilford Brimley thing. Like, we thought he looked really old.
I know. But he did look older. But like, so what's the Dragon's motivation at this point? Like, is he just trying to kill everybody, or like why is he? Or are you trying to save her at this point? Is that, I guess?
Oh yeah. No, he's really trying. He's trying to kill Quan.
Okay. Well, I expected more from the main bad guy. Like, why if he's not a good fighter at all? Why?
Oh,
is he
dude, you ready? How old do you think he was?
Oh my gosh.
How old do you think he was?
45.
No, but I would say you really think he was 51
I would have said like
years
64,
old?
65.
He's 51.
That's 2 years older than me.
But that's insanity. That
isn't
guy,
it insanity? I know.
51 years old.
That's ridiculous. All right, I hate these old. Like, I don't understand why people look so old like that back then. I mean, really, it's crazy. I mean, again, Brimley is like that's a topper. Like, that guy's looked old forever. The guy was in Cocoon and he was in his 40s. I mean, literally, you're playing in retired old elderly people and you're 40 years old.
Yeah, this guy's a big time character actor. Man, he was in Temple of Doom. He was the co-pilot on that plane that the guys that jumped out of the window. Jumped out of the thing.
Was he really?
Yeah, so there was only 2 guys, so it must have been him.
That's
he was
awesome.
in Down and Out in Beverly Hills. Yeah, he played a lot of Japanese roles.
I'm sure.
Chinese role, Japanese gardener. But dude, he's working. He's doing so much. His character name in It's Pat the movie, Curious Sushi Man.
Well, I'm assuming in that movie, it's probably Curious, like, in title for everybody that's in that movie.
Yeah.
Curious janitor, Curious doctor.
That'd
curious...
be really funny. Yeah.
Do you ever see that movie? Like, did they ever find out who Pat was? So they find out who Pat is, or what Pat is
at the end. I don't remember that. What is Pat?
Oh,
they reveal at the very end.
I don't know. I didn't see the movie. I just want to know if they revealed it.
I don't know if they ever. I don't think so. This or that. That and Stewart Saves His Family, man.
My gosh.
That year, that's when SNL was greenlighting everything. Now they haven't made any movies.
But they're all in the same movie together, like Ghostbusters. All the girls from Saturday Night Live were in Ghostbusters, so like they're not greenlighted, but they're starring in movies together. So
yeah, but just like characters, the fact that we got
I know.
Pat,
well,
Stewart Saves His Family. You had. Yeah, but they never did like a Matt Foley. I'm surprised they never did a Matt Foley movie. I don't know if it could be a 90-minute thing.
I don't know if Matt Foley. Well, you know what?
Wayne's World.
I don't know if Matt Foley could be a movie. And you know what? I'm not a big fan of Saturday Night Live anymore. I don't think it's been really funny in a while. What characters could they have made a movie on? Like, they outside of like, I like Kristen Wiig's, like when she wears the small hand
target. The little hand when she's like the old actress. Yeah.
Or you know what? What's the one when the alien encounter? Or Stefan could have been.
Yeah.
The alien one is like my favorite. One of my favorite. What's her name?
That could have been really good.
What's
another
the one that
was
she
it in her
she gets
first
probed
thing?
every time?
Yeah. Kate McKinnon.
Kate McKinnon. Yeah. So like that could have been a movie. Like characters like that. But I mean, like really, like there weren't too many characters. So I don't know. Anyway, we'll get back to the movie, but I have to mention this. If you guys are SNL fans, you got to listen to it's on the Conan podcast. There actually is a script for a Hans and Franz movie. Kevin Nealon and Dana Carvey was on there, and they read it. So, oh my gosh,
really cool. It was
Was it
supposed
funny?
to be green lit, and I forgot why it felt. Yeah, that was a funny sketch. I thought that was pretty funny.
Did they make a movie? I thought they made a movie.
No. They had everything going. I forgot why it fell through. Maybe it could have been. My guess would be, because I don't remember what they said. I didn't listen to the full thing, but it could have been Dana's falling out with like leaving the show, maybe, and he was down at that time. So I bet you at that time, maybe, because when his show failed, the Dana Carvey show, I'm sure his brand was kind of tarnished for a little bit, because
Right.
after that, he didn't start anything. He did the Master of Disguise. It was like the last big thing he did.
That was a pretty funny movie. That was a funny movie, though.
It is so
It's
silly,
so
so
stupid.
good, but
It's so stupid. Yeah, I know. But I for some reason, I always thought they made a movie. It sounds familiar, but all right. Anyway.
yeah. But
All right.
yeah. So yeah.
I wanted to sort of say it again. So this guy is the main. And listen, every movie, even the guy in Mortal Kombat, the main guy, or not in Mortal Kombat, Big Trouble in Little China, say, he was an old man, but he was like, he was the toughest guy. Like, that's why he's the leader. This guy did nothing. Even when he did his dramatic entrance with the gun, it was like the most dramatic entrance. It was like slow motion. He gets shot in 2 seconds. Like,
I know.
he shouldn't have been the leader.
No, he shouldn't have been. He should have tried to. Even what's his name from Roadhouse, who was probably I don't even look up his age. He was probably like 32.
Oh my gosh.
But I brought a Target to this town. J.C. Penney's coming here because of me. But like this guy breaks away and then he comes back not ready to fire the gun. But I think it makes sense. Maybe he's a bad guy to like a bad guy to us because he didn't want to shoot somebody he knew for a long time. So he hesitated a little bit. No. And then Don takes care of him. Pretty quick.
Don does. Yeah. Listen, I think Don only kills like 3 people in this movie. He knocks people out, but he breaks the guy's neck. He shoots the main bad guy, and
yeah, he kills those 3 guys. I think that's it. He kills those 3 guys, and that's
Does Oddjob die?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think he gets knocked out.
He snaps his neck.
No, I think he gets knocked out.
Okay, so maybe 2. 2 definitely.
Okay.
Not that many. Oh no, more than that because he kills the guys at the.
Does he?
Oh no, he just knocks out. He just
he knocks everybody
he just
out.
knocks down. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Okay.
So he leaves Candy at the doctor's, which that doctor is so serious about his role. He's like, steady, because he's like, I'll be right back, and she's like, you're gonna go back, and he's like, something just doesn't sit right. So probably her at this point is probably like, oh shit, I gotta get out of here. Or was the doctor? Well, the doctor might have not been in on it because how is she? Unless she was like, oh, I only like going to this hospital over here.
Right.
Maybe something like that. But yeah. How about the security guard doesn't question? It's like in a movie when you go into a room and like the back door's open or like a random lights on or the fridge is open. I'd be like, yeah, it's kind of sketchy. I live alone. But this guy walks in and the metal pole that for the guardrails or the lines to go in. Oh, it's just sitting in the middle of the metal detector. Doesn't pull a gun out. He's just like, Starts looking around.
Look at this. That's a common theme. Look at the security guard throughout the whole movie.
Yeah.
I mean, they're definitely like, they work by the hour. They're like mall cops. They're basically like mall cops.
So what's your note at this point? What did you write when you saw Steve James? What did you write down?
Well, I said, this is part 5 because the fact that when they start this whole scene with Steve, first of all, I thought it might have been like his brother or something. Like I didn't realize like it was the same actor, the same person. But when they start describing the background, I'm like, he's made 5 of these movies, and he's really a bad guy. Yeah. And I thought I was so confused. That's why this is the point where I looked up all the other movies. I said I need to know what these movies are about because this doesn't make sense. That he has amnesia, but he's really a bad guy. Like I just didn't make sense.
No, you're right.
Why? What'd you think?
I just wrote down, what in the hell? Steve James alive? And the dragon is a Chinese operative?
Yeah.
And then I wrote, so the dragon's buddy who said he was an operative in the NSA, was he really one or no? That was my question. Was Don Stark? And that's my only open item. If somebody messaged us that was a part of this movie and they said, you know what, Don Stark we deleted that scene, then boom, this is the greatest written movie of all time. This really is it's the game before the game. This is really clever that everybody is involved. If in this scene See, this is what would have made it on the game level.
I'm
They're at the
hoping
end of the-
someone from Twitter will correct us on this. I hope
Oh,
someone
I hope so.
responds, because we get those, we get corrected all the time.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping someone can correct us on this one.
Well, our buddy Matt, he loves these movies, but again, there's no continuation. So it's really like when you watch this movie, there's no like, oh, remember in part 2, scene 17, like, oh, there's nothing with this because it's like kind of a standalone movie,
Right? Correct.
But what's kind of crazy is, I would say the end of the game when everybody's clapping and
Yep.
Sean Penn gets shot and like that whole scene.
Yep.
Like if in this scene, Steve James explains everything and then opens like an auditorium room door and everybody we saw in the movie was there, like Michael McDonald, Don Stark.
Well, that would be a little silly. I mean,
It would be like everybody was in the NSA.
yeah, but who
And in
cares?
on it.
Like at this point, I mean, first of all, and that's why I question if James was really in NSA, because there's only 4 guys left at the end of the movie, like that are the bad guys that have the dragon. Like there's the rest of the NSA is not there. Like you would think there would be a lot more people, and there's not. So like, is he really a bad guy? Not the NSA.
Now you're thinking
because
no,
they're
it's a double
tortured.
twist. Now like
Listen,
this whole
where-
the ending's not real.
Where's the rest of the people? Where's the rest of the NSA?
Well, Michelle seems like she's really in something, or she thinks she's in something.
Or she's a
she's
bad
doing
guy.
paperwork at a desk, or
She's
maybe
part of the bad guys. I mean, that's, or she's really a hooker and she's just doing them a favor.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because I mean, they're using a weed whacker to torture him, right? That was a weed whacker, wasn't it?
Wait,
Was
the very very end? No, that was a boat engine.
Oh, it looked like a weed whacker. I thought it was.
They're gonna murder him with an actual boat engine. So the line that Quan said, I wrote it down again. I mentioned earlier, but he says, "Oh, but I've done so much for you," and he says, "You haven't done anything." So
Right.
he probably really did stuff for him. So that's why he wasn't
Right.
ready to pull the trigger.
Correct.
Crazy.
All right.
man. Dude, and Steve James's line when Michelle's like, "Hey, don't hurt him. He helped us," and then he says,
"You slept with
the
him?"
guy. Oh,
But
you slept with him was one, and then the other line he goes, "The guy gets shot in the head. Now you say he's Mother Teresa."
No, but he goes, "Did you sleep with him?" And then she's like, "Oh no," like she was like denying it like right away. What?
No, actually, they stayed really far apart from each other the whole movie.
They
There
did.
was no sexual chemistry at all.
Yeah.
Which made the end even more crazy. But I guess she was like, "Hey, this is my job." But she's like sort of in love with him.
But he forgives her that quick. I mean, he
Oh, I
almost
know.
died. He almost got tortured to death. I mean, and again, for these bad guys, why do they have to play games and like kill him with a boat engine? Like, first of all, that would be extremely messy. But like, why wouldn't they just shoot him? If they want him dead, just shoot him. Why do they have
that's
to
what I
play
wrote.
games?
Back of the head, throw him in the water.
Right. That's it. Done. No,
You
they have
know,
to play
like-
games and use like the most obscure way to kill him.
Yeah. But I did like how evil Steve James was. I thought that was a great like part of his character, because when he goes, "Yeah, we're gonna take care of him. We'll talk in the morning."
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And Michelle's doing the paperwork, and she's looking at the bracelet that he gave him, that he gave her. And I love that he's like sleeping, and then in duct tape on the face, they throw him on the ground. Again, they're barely kicking him, and they're getting ready to take him. But I love when they're getting ready to take him, and Steve James are walking down the hall. And he's like, "Wait, shh, shh, shh." And he points him to go behind the wall, and he's like, "Hey, Michelle, what are you doing here?" And then she's like, "Explain." "Oh yeah, just had some paperwork, blah blah blah."
So was that a real police station? Because wouldn't
That
there
was
be
the NSA
cameras everywhere?
office.
Okay, so wouldn't there be cameras
yeah, you're
everywhere?
right. Yeah, that's true.
I mean, like, so the fact that they're like duct taping him and dragging him along, where is everybody else? There's no one around, because I mean, he was in a cell, which means that there's no back door. Like, he's going to have to go through the front and get around.
Yeah.
No one's around. No one sees it. That's why, like, is that really a real NSA place? Like, is that just one of their lairs?
It was like a little holding cell. There was only like 2 cells at the
There were
at
2
max.
cells. Yeah.
But I love Steve James when he goes, "Hey," she goes, "What are you doing here?" And like real quick, he was like, yeah, I just wanted to come back and let you know that we're really gonna take care of him for you."
Yeah, but you can't talk to him. He's sleeping now. What is he, a
Oh,
baby?
yeah,
Like,
yeah. He's sleeping now. And she's like, "Oh, okay."
it's Yeah, we don't want to disturb him. You come back tomorrow.
But then she was a little sketchy. So I don't know what he said. That's what made no sense. The last line that Steve James said had something to make her think, because she made that look like, huh? But but thinking, like, even after he said it, to me, it was just a regular, like, normal line that somebody would say. But something threw.
Well, I don't think
off,
she.
like,
I think she thought he was hiding something when they met in the hallway. I think so. And she followed him, because clearly she knew exactly where they were going. So she was probably saw him, hopping along. Was his legs duct taped too?
I would
think
hope
he
so,
was, right?
Wouldn't he slam his legs on the ground?
Right.
That's what I would do.
Oh no, but he kicks out. He kicks them later on, so maybe they weren't. Okay.
So why didn't he stomp his feet right then and there?
Yeah, I know.
What if he did do that and she was like, "What was that?" And he's like, "I brought my horse in."
Well, maybe he assumed that if he did it there, then the rest of the NSA that's not really there anyway would have came down.
Oh, maybe. You're right.
Okay.
But yeah, so then like you said, they throw him in a trunk. They're gonna chop his face off with the boat engine. He gets out of that pretty quick. And then he uses the fast moving blade to cut duct tape around your hand.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I don't know how that would work. I think
again, this is a guy that still has no memory of anything. I mean, he does a lot of good stuff without having a memory. So
yeah, he's pretty good. But so then we get the Chosen and the other one I wrote they're dead, but I feel like he didn't shoot them. He didn't have a gun. I feel like he just kicked them.
No, like I said, I don't think he kills anybody except James and like three other people.
Two other guys. So three. Yeah. So I guess his kill count's really three. So then the end fight is, again, even though I didn't like the POV of each fight, it was cool at the beginning to see when Steve James grabbed the pipe. And he does that in a lot of movies. So I think he is an expert with weapons like that, because he does the swords
do
he
that.
uses American Ninja too. He really
the way he
works
spins it around and stuff, like he's used sticks before. So he's awesome. And again, you could tell that he's not himself from all the movies. Like I said, if he was, that shirt would have came off. The minute he put his jacket down, I'm like, all right, this. And no, but I mean, the point of view was it was a camera point of view. Every kick, every punch, it was a little silly.
It was weird because you saw him punch, and then it was on the other end, you saw not like the punch hitting. It was before the punch hit. Yeah. So it wasn't that the same. But I love his line. You aren't the only one who knows that karate crap. And I'm like, oh my God, that's almost the same line that he says to Armstrong.
I was not expecting a fight between them two. So I'm glad.
Oh, I didn't either. Especially the fact that he got shot in the beginning. He was gone. So I was thinking, you know what? He's top billed because they know who he is.
His name.
Or maybe because he passed away, they were like, hey, let's put his name higher up in the credits, something like that. But it was still cool to see them go at it.
It was. And I'm glad it wasn't as quick as Odd Jobs. At least James got a couple of good punches in there. So.
Oh yeah, and I forgot. He doesn't even get credit for the kill because Michelle comes and shoots him.
Yeah.
But is he dead? I don't think he's dead because he said something to her. So I don't think he dies. She lets him live for some reason because they're on the run.
Well, I mean, they were close too. Because listen, they must have been exes maybe, because he seemed annoyed that she slept with him. I feel like they used to date.
He was a little jealous,
Yeah, so they probably dated. So she's like, I can't kill him. I'll just hurt him.
I can't kill this guy. I'll just hurt him a little bit.
What if he wakes up one day with his memory?
Oh, yeah, bumps his head.
And he wakes up and realizes that he's a lethal killer who killed his own wife and just basically killed. So not only would he should not trust her because she tried, obviously set him up, but how could she trust him? That he's not going to, wake up and realize that because clearly he's pretty lethal, so yeah, I mean, or it sounds like a perfect marriage.
Or it is. They're both on the run. They're both basically both going to be. And he already has passports with fake names on it, so they just have to go back to that apartment that they set up. But
okay.
So that's it. That's Bloodfist 5.
5.
Jamie, after we talk about this, do you change your tune a little bit, a smidge?
All right. So this is the thing. So I still don't think it's a good movie. However, because of what we discussed and our theory on what's going on, I think people should watch it. And one, see if we're right, or if they can come up with their own theories. Because it is like a twisty movie. You know, it's hard to really know what's going on, and I think it's worth watching based on what we discussed. I'll say it that way. And
Agreed.
And put that in mind. What we discussed, like, definitely watch it after you listen to the podcast, and the theories that we had. Now watch the movie and see if it all fits.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. And of course, if you're on YouTube, let us know at Sequels Only. But no, I agree. Like, I do wish there was more action, but
without a doubt,
obviously, if there was more action, like if there was better fights, and they could obviously still kept the same story. But it's wild if the movie is what we're positing. It's amazing.
And again, the fight scenes weren't great, but I'll take more actions with the same not so great action scenes.
Exactly.
Just again, because I think there was way too much. Again, there was a lot of story that, like, yeah, I like the laundromat scene. It was pretty funny, but then it just, like, a lot of these scenes dragged where, like, I'm waiting for, a fight scene. If this was a Van Damme movie, it would have been like fighting left and right. So
or Seagal. There'd been like a ton of fighting. Right. Yeah, each place he would have went to, he would have fought. But I guess it would have been silly if when he goes to the laundromat, the guys are waiting there, they fight.
But you know what, though? Does it make a difference? Like, listen, no one's going to see this movie because they're waiting to see some acting between, Don, the dragon and whatever. They're going here to see action. Doesn't matter how much acting or what kind of plot it is. They don't care. I just want to see action. That's. Listen, again, that's basically, the fact that Van Damme did The Quest and Bloodsport, which is basically the exact same movie, who's going there for the plot? They just want to see him, fight.
I know.
So, yeah.
That's that. No, I totally agree. But, yeah, no. So, like Jamie said, watch the movie. Tell us if you agree with your theories, because I don't know. That everybody must have been in on it, either part of NSA or paid actors or something, because the fact that Michael McDonald goes, "Oh, Jimmy, how you been?"
Yeah.
And I'm like,
oh
my
so
God,
over the
that's
top
bizarre.
the way
is he in there enough?
Yeah.
Because now that we know, he was obviously never in there.
Yeah.
Because he wasn't Jimmy. He was a Chinese operative the whole time.
Right. So he was in on it. Yeah. It's crazy. All right.
Man. So so I just want to address this. We do have an interview coming up next week. It's really the last one we have, because we're trying to get folks that are behind the scenes that aren't striking. When it comes to folks in SAG, and writers, I'm sure, have the same rules. We didn't get confirmation on that, but with SAG, actors aren't allowed to, because Jamie reached out to some really great guests that want to interview, but they want to be able to talk about their careers, and obviously not just talk about their hobbies. They want to talk about projects they worked on over the years, and they just can't. The rules with SAG right now, because it's the first strike since I think 81, they really don't want people doing that, because they really want to stick it to the studios, and we're all for that. So after the next interview, maybe if we get another behind the scenes type person, we'll do it. If not, we're gonna do something pretty cool. Obviously, we had our hall passes that we did this year, but we're gonna try to cover some sequels that we really probably have no chance of getting somebody from, because they're not alive anymore. So we're thinking some old, like, 60s, 70s, maybe some rando 80s movies. So that'll be fun to look forward to in the coming weeks. So let us know some that you want to see. If you have any favorite 70s sequels, 80s sequels that you want us to do, that you're like, you know what, it'd be probably hard to get one of those people. Yeah, at Sequels Only, let us know. You can email me at doug at sequelsonly.com. However you want to contact us, but let us know. It'd be fun to do some of those. And I know I asked this early in the year, so I'm going to go back to that post, revisit it, and see some of the ones that you mention on there, because we only went on one of the choices. I forgot which one it was, but we'll do that. But before that, next week, fun interview, man, really cool. Nathan Haugaard. It was really neat to talk to him. He's a camera operator, but it's funny when you look at an IMDb, like we've said a million times, it only tells like a smidge of the story. So a lot of his credits are camera operator, cinematographer on a lot of cool short films that he worked on, camera operator, a lot of reality shows like Below the Deck, Real Housewives of Orange County, Beverly Hills. He had some cool stories about that, but it was really his stories about working for James Cameron, like directly for him at the age of 21. He grew up in Vancouver, Washington, got lucky, worked at like a PA on some job, and then somehow, boom, he's working doing all this 3D stuff. So he talked about, it was really cool. He talked about like what really goes into how to shoot a great 3D movie, because obviously James Cameron knows how to do it when it comes to Avatar, and Nathan worked on both of them. Avatar, when he first got out of Hollywood, then he worked on Way of Water. He started working on that in 2017.
That's crazy.
The movie just came out the end of last year. Mind blowing. And he had some cool stories, two connections. He saw Avatar and Way of Water in the same theater that he grew up near in Portland. And then with what's pretty cool is the next sequel we're covering is Blair Witch 2016, which is a direct sequel to the first one. And when he was growing up, that movie inspired him and his buddies to start making their own horror movies. They're like, oh, you know what? My dad has that camera. We can do that. So pretty neat to that he did camera testing on that movie, but really fun chat. We talked about the strike because the camera operators on a strike not too long ago. So it's pretty neat. So it was a lot of fun. So yeah, so the next sequel up, Blair Witch 2016. I've never seen it, but I think it's cool that it's a direct sequel because I remember even after the first one came out in 99 and 2000, it was a quick sequel. They filmed it in less than a year. And that was like really, I guess, a cash grab because nobody really liked it. Book of Secrets. So this should be a lot of fun.
Wait, this is the third one?
This is the third one, but this one ignores the second one.
Okay. I only saw the first one, and I hated it.
Oh, really? I love that movie.
No,
so cool.
It was awful.
Well, maybe because you were a little bit.
You know what it is? I'll tell you.
I was young, and I thought it was real.
Well, that's what it is. I already saw. I saw it when I knew it wasn't real. So, like, I think a little. I think the whole hype was obviously people thought, you know, the website, they thought it was really. So I think that was the hype. You know, so if you watch it then, great. If you watch it afterwards and knowing how crappy it is, it's awful. So, I'm sure. Yeah. I'm sure this one is way better. So.
Yeah. It should be. So don't forget to review, rate, share our podcast, follow us on all social media at Sequels Only, and don't forget to check out our website, sequelsonly.com. Good night.
Good night.